There we go.
Hey, happy day, friends. How are you doing? I'm once again with my good friend, Dr. George. So good to see you today.
Oh, it's great.
And today is Tuesday, by the way. Ha! It's great to be back up in the Pennsylvania area. I was away from my Optimal Health Convention down in Atlanta over the weekend, and let me tell you, I just came back with a renewed appreciation for what it takes to create healthier habits in your life. And that's what I really wanted to have a conversation with my buddy Dr. George about, because you create your habits and then your habits create you. So the real question is, are those habits serving you? And if they're not serving you, if you're not feeling good, waking up every day with an abundance of energy and vim and vigor and happy about where you are in life and just feeling really good, then there are certain things that you can do to help yourself to become a healthier version of yourself. And Dr. George is a prime example of this, because it wasn't that long ago that you were telling me how much your hands hurt you.
That's exactly right. And my habits were not up to par, so to speak. Some of the problems that I inherently had for my habits was joint pain. And I, did research,
Mm-hmm.
and my research led me to Dr. David Seaman. I had a lot of conversations with David, and I also about his deflame diet.
Mm-hmm.
And another good friend of mine, Gray Cook, I want to give a shout out to Gray. We had a lot of conversation. He had lost 50 pounds, and he was
Awesome.
looking great. And he did a lot of the same things that David did. And I had those conversations. And
Mm-hmm.
the one of the determinations I made from speaking to Gray and to David was about sugar. Sugar is the body's crack,
Yeah, it's
and
evil.
it causes a negative outcome and a lot of negative symptoms that impact your life, like
Right.
joint pain, inflammation. And it's really hard to overcome sugar because people become addicted,
But yet people will tell you, I eat healthy.
but they don't.
And here's the thing. Be honest with yourselves. When you're going into the supermarket, are you going just in the perimeter of the store? Are you getting your healthy meats, your healthy vegetables, your healthy fruits, maybe your healthy legumes if or healthy grains if you want to be there? Is that what you're loading into your shopping cart? Or are you adding a bunch of things that are processed, like your dairy aisle and your packaged foods? Now, keep in mind, there are packaged foods that are healthy and there are packaged foods that are unhealthy. But everything pretty much is processed, unless you're buying the meat, the fruit, and the vegetables. It's all processed. Now, if you're carrying around an extra 15, 20, 30, 40,
42.
50, or more pounds,
Gray lost 50.
then guess
I
what?
lost 42.
Chances are you are not following a healthy diet and lifestyle, and that's not serving you. So please continue.
Okay, let me follow up with what Bob had just said a little bit. And what you need, and this is the reason you need someone like Bob or I, you need a coach to kind of help you through this system. And an example of that would be I'm going to, bring up a patient of mine that has a history of kidney stones.
Right.
Okay, so on the surface, dark green leafy vegetables you would think would be healthy if you're buying them fresh. Dark green leafy spinach,
Mm-hmm.
the shade vegetables, that's healthy. But that predisposes you to kidney stones. So for that
Yep.
particular patient, that's not healthy.
Correct.
So you need people like Bob and I to lead you in the right direction. Each patient is unique, so you can't cookbook this. You have to make it unique to that particular patient. And if you do that, the recommendations will be successful. And Another thought I have about this that comes to mind, and this is one of my philosophies in life.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with people, what does that mean, Bob?
Don't worry about
We're
it. It's
good?
good. We're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to my thought process, one of the philosophies I've always had in life was this: if you take a day off, you will have an off day.
Correct.
And by that, what I mean is if you're following a diet, you're following advice from Dr. Siemens, deflame diet, and you're hooked up with Bob or myself or whatever coach, Brian, down in Maryland, and all of a sudden you decide, well, it's Sunday, I'm going to reward myself and I'm going to eat Reese cups and drink milk. Well, milk is very inflammatory and Reese cups have a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So you took a day off, so now you're going to have a bad day. You get it?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So Dr. A is all about creating systems of health and wellness. And we guide clients through Dr. A's Habits of Health transformational system. And it's getting things one little baby step, one little micro habit at a time, so that your habits begin to serve you as opposed to not serve you. And the classic tell is just what you're saying. I can feel good 7 out of 7 days of the week if I choose to. I can also choose to have something inflammatory that's going to taste really good, but what is it going to do to my body for the next day or two? It's going to put me in a place where I don't want to be because I am just not feeling optimal. I'm not feeling good at all when I load myself with those things that I know are not good for me. But when you get your body nice and clean to the point where you're only fueling it with healthy things, and then you go ahead and put something in it that it's not healthy, your body's pretty amazing at letting you know, uh-oh, something's wrong here.
Well, what you need to do, what Bob and I are alluding to, is you need to develop systems and you need to repeat these systems. And the more you do these systems, these procedures, the more second nature it's going to become and the easier it's going to be, to stick to whatever you need to do for your particular, lifestyle. And once again, you can't cookbook it. So, it's got to be unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you develop systems and you have a number of systems and you're even to the point where you're OCD about them,
Yep.
it'll get to a point where it'll be like a reflex. It'll be
Well,
second nature to you and you'll just do it. You won't have to think about it. You'll
yeah,
just do it.
that's the beauty of habits. They're either serving you or they're not serving you. And because there's only so much capacity in your prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain to actually think about what you're doing, most of what you're doing every day, you're on autopilot. You're not thinking it, you're just doing it. So better to have those habits in place to serve you automatically, doing the things the right way as opposed to the things that are not serving you.
And importantly, you got to have the right mindset. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
ready to do it. You got to say to yourself, I need help. I
Yeah.
need a coach. My lifestyle habits are not serving me, and I need to develop habits that are going to serve me.
Absolutely. Only because it takes 66 days on average to install a habit. It's not 3 weeks like most people think. I'm not sure where that came from, that particular information.
I could actually explain to you where that comes from. When you're taking supplements or start beginning eating a particular way, it takes 3 days or for you to feel an effect. It takes 3 weeks for that to build up into your system. And then at that point there, you'll know how much it's actually benefiting you or not. As the last time we talked about an anabolic product, Tribeflex, which is specifically designed as a time release energy product.
Right.
And really, when it'll take 3 days of taking it regularly as directed for you to start feeling the difference, but it'll take 3 weeks for it to be ingrained into your system where you'll feel the maximum effects and
And
benefits.
and upwards of 66 days for you to be on autopilot, for your habit just to be doing whatever that habit is, good, bad, or indifferent. But
So let me give you some thoughts about, like taking supplements and the whole process. Some people have a hard time taking pills, and I have a simple solution for that. If you go out and you get yourself like a Ninja blender and
mhm,
you make yourself smoothies, what you can do is incorporate those supplements or recommendations from Bob or I into that smoothie. And then you're drinking a smoothie that you like, and it just makes it so much easier to do.
yep,
Another system that I put in place from talking to Greg Cook and David Seaman and from talking to my good friend Bob is to break things up. So I take close to 30 supplements a day, between 24 and 30, but I've been taking closer to 30 most recently, and I feel great. This is the best I felt in over 10 years. But what I do,
you're looking good too, George.
I'm not complaining, but what I do, I take those supplements, I break it up until 4 times a day. I take them in the morning when I get up, I take them around noon, I take them in the early evening, and then I take them before I go to bed. And if you have difficulty, with supplements and taking pills, you could just drink a smoothie and do the same thing and have the same benefit and have the same outcome.
Absolutely. So anyway, in wrapping this up, it's really good to think about developing systems that will serve you as opposed to repeatedly doing the habits that are not serving you. Because I got to tell you, isn't it a whole lot better when you're feeling really good?
It is, and I can't tell you how great I feel. And I should knock on wood because this is the best I felt in over 10 years.
Amazing. Well, here's to another 10 years, George.
Anyway, we'll be back. Have a great day.
Take care. Let me stop the share.